I was in my local health food store and I saw this flyer, an advertisement. It was for a free seminar, an introduction to covert hypnosis and persuasion. Because it was free and I like these kinds of things, I decided to go. When I saw the flyer, the seminar was only in 2 days. You always meet lots of interesting people at these kinds of places. I showed up at the hotel where they were holding the seminar. I went into the seminar room, but there was no people. The chairs were set up. The free coffee was set up in the back. I could see the teaching material set up in front, but there was no people, no teacher, no students. I double-checked the time. I was in the right place. It was the right time, but there was no people. So I decided to hang out in the hotel lobby just to figure out what might be going on. While I was sitting in the hotel lobby, this guy came walking in. He was holding one of those big takeout coffee cups, a styrofoam coffee cup that looked really, really big. And he had a kind of a worried look on his face. But then when he saw me, when he saw me looking at him, he kind of smiled like he recognized me. So he came and sat down next to me and he asked me if I was there for the seminar. I nodded and he smiled again. He didn't seem to be worried that there was no people there. In fact, he acted like he kind of expected it. And he told me that this seminar that he was teaching, this free seminar, he was still struggling with a bit of self-sabotage. When you want to do something, and part of you wants to do something, but another part of you thinks there might be a reason you shouldn't do this. And I said, this is just a basic introduction to hypnosis and covert persuasion, right? And he said, yes, that's what this seminar is. But the real reason I'm holding this seminar is because I need to qualify people, because I have something much more powerful to teach people. And I use this seminar to separate out the people that want to use these techniques for good and the people that want to use these techniques for evil. And so I asked him what the more powerful technique was. And he started to ask me all these questions. He asked me what my background was. He asked me what kinds of things I hope to accomplish in life. He asked me a bunch of hypothetical questions, and I could tell that he was qualifying me, so I just decided to answer him as honestly as I could. He said the deeper, more powerful technique that he discovered was a technique to go inside people's dreams, to control their dreams while they were dreaming, to talk to them from inside their dreams. But in order to do that, you have to go through a very long process. The first part of the process is you first have to identify your life's purpose. This is not something like a wish or a fantasy like I want to become rich or I want to find true love. This has to be based on your skills. This has to be based on a contribution you want to make to society in a way that you will get rich and famous because of that contribution. The example he gave me was for a doctor would have the purpose of to discover a very cheap cure for cancer. And that would be something that he would spend his entire life trying to find out. The first step is to find your own purpose, to define your own purpose based on your skills, your contributions, and the fame and the riches that would come as a result after you made your contribution to society. Once you had this mission statement, once you had your purpose defined, then you would take it and write it in a very tight, very powerful sentence, devoid of any extra unneeded verbiage. And you would make this so powerful so that when you said it, it made you feel on purpose. It made you feel like this was truth for you. This was the one thing that you wanted to achieve in your life. Once you had that short statement, then you had to translate that into ancient Sumerian or cuneiform writing. This was to translate this into a symbol that you couldn't understand, that you would connect subconsciously these symbols that you didn't understand to your deep purpose. And then you would take this sentence written in cuneiform and combine that into one powerful symbol. And that symbol would represent your life's purpose. Once you had that symbol created, you had to charge that symbol with as many powerful emotions as you could. And you had to feel these emotions while focusing on your symbol in mind. You had to feel deep feelings of love, deep feelings of hate, deep feelings of sexual desire, deep feelings of sexual satisfaction, deep feelings of loneliness and anxiety, all the emotions you can conjure up. You had to go through them one at a time, feel them as strongly as you could while focusing on this symbol. While charging that symbol with all these different emotions, what you would be doing is actually creating this symbol in the astral plane, in the spiritual plane. Before, if you only have the symbol and you focused on the symbol, it would only be a hallucination in your mind. But by charging it with all those emotions, by creating the symbol in the astral plane, once you have it all charged, once you focus on that symbol, your charged symbol, you would be creating a connection between you and the astral plane. That is what would give you the power to enter into the dreams of others. And once you can enter into the dreams of others, you could be a lucid programmer of their dreams. You could show up as an angel or a spirit and tell them exactly what you want them to do. You could go into their dreams, you could talk to them on a deep subconscious level and tell them to fall in love with this person, to worship this person, to do everything this person tells you, to feel great feelings of love and adoration whenever you think of this person, to become enamored with this person, to become completely obedient to this person. And after about a week of dream programming, if they saw you in real life, they would start to do whatever you wanted them to do. Or if you programmed them strongly enough, they would do whatever you wanted them to do without needing to see you. This would help you make money. This would help you seduce people. This would help you create business deals. This would help you gain an enormous amount of power. And if they did see you, they would immediately fall in love with you. They would immediately want to do whatever you wanted to tell them. They would immediately do whatever you asked of them. That's why this guy is still having trouble figuring out how to qualify the right people, because obviously if he teaches this technique to the wrong people, they could literally destroy the world. They could enter into the dreams of all the world leaders and cause them to start a nuclear war, for example. They could use this technique for incredible amounts of evil. He's still trying to figure out the best way to qualify people, to figure out the best way to make sure that he separates the evil people from the good people. Ideally, he would want to go through and talk to them one at a time, but he's still kind of worried that they might lie to him so that they could learn this technique, so that they could use this technique, so that they could discover this technique. I didn't ask him how he learned this technique. I didn't ask him where he discovered this technique, but I have my suspicions.